there has been a spike, no, not just in COVID cases, but even in unemployment cases. Over 12 crore Indians have lost jobs in the month of April alone. Of course, we all know why. It's because of the lockdown. An agency, CMIE, has surveyed where they say that the maximum job losses have happened for traders and wage laborers. Large entrepreneurs report 23% job losses. 1.8 crore businesses have shut down in April, according to this survey. Salaried jobs have not been growing. 1 in every 5 salaried employees seems to have lost his job during this lockdown. And after job loss, some have in fact turned to farming. The count of farmers has risen by 5% in April, according to this survey. The monthly sample size is around 43,100 versus the usual 1,18,000. That's the information that we have on this survey. But very startling and surprising results. But what is the way forward? I have with me the CEO and MD of this agency, the CMIE, Mr. Mahesh Vyas. Thank you so much for speaking to NDTV. What does your data actually depict and actually show, Mr. Vyas?
Post-COVID, the unemployment rate in India has increased quite dramatically. The unemployment rate in the month of March, which had a partial impact of the lockdown, was 8.75%. In the month of April, this shot up to 23.5%. And since then, it seems to have increased a tad more and is likely to be in the vicinity of 24% in the month of May. This is partial for May. We will get the complete information for May by early next week. But right now, it looks like that the unemployment rate in India in the lockdown period is in the vicinity of 23.5% to 24%, which is very high compared to what we have seen in the past. We have also seen a fall in the labor participation rate, although there's a small improvement in that. All this translates roughly into a loss of 122 million jobs in the month of April.
Now, Mr. Vyas, I saw on your website a 30-day moving average which shows the urban unemployment at 26.5% and rural at 22.9%. What trend does this show?
This is usually the pattern in India, that the unemployment rate in rural is lower than it is in urban India. We have a lot of disguised unemployment in rural India. People who are not exactly employed in any formal way or in any organized sector. They are employed in the farms, doing jobs that are not exactly productive jobs, but they are very marginal jobs. So they are largely disguised unemployment. And therefore, while these people show up as employed, they do much less work than the urban people do. Now, such opportunities in urban India are much lesser in the sense that the opportunities of doing low productivity jobs, if they're not exemplary jobs, are not there in urban India. So if you're unemployed in urban India, you will show up as an unemployed person, whereas in rural India, you can still claim that you're doing some work on the farms. So it is normally the case that urban India shows a much higher unemployment rate, and that is a more realistic picture.
Okay, Mr. Vyas, what are the states of particular concern where there has been a massive spike in unemployment?
The rise in unemployment is pretty much across the country, but in some states which have not seen such high unemployment in the past, but have seen such unemployment now, are states like Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, and a few other states, but these are the two large industrial states that have seen a big increase in unemployment. I'll pick these two as the most severe cases.
All right. Now, I wanted to ask you, Mr. Vyas, what steps need to be taken to come back to normal? Obviously, this is not normal. This is, many would say, an aberration that suddenly from the 7% mark of unemployment, it has gone up to 23, 24. You think these figures will come back to the average unemployment rate very soon? Or how soon?
Well, this 24% unemployment rate is not normal for India at all. We have had an unemployment rate closer to 7%, even lesser at 6%. And in the past, in the preceding decades, for decades, we had an unemployment rate only of around 2 to 3%. So as India has modernized, as the formal employment share has gone up, as per capita income levels have risen, our unemployment rate has risen because now it is possible for people to also stay unemployed. Earlier, we couldn't afford this. But uh, the unemployment rate shooting up to 24% is certainly unusual. It is a
Correct.
reflection of our current times of a lockdown. And when the lockdown is lifted, this rate is expected to come down quite sharply. It may not come down to 8% again, but it certainly
Which
will
is
come down
worrying.
quite sharply.
Which is worrying, Mr. Vyas, that the last point that you mentioned, that it may not come down to its average, is actually the worrying trend. Now that the migrants, Mr. Vyas, seem to be moving back to their villages, what specific opportunities do you think the government needs to provide to contain rural unemployment, which is low according to your own data, but may rise?
The government has raised the allocation for Manrega scheme, which is a good step that may mitigate a part of the problem. Maybe there is a reason for us to increase that allocation more uh, to address the problem further. But if we do that, we also need to keep in mind that there is a need for the labor to come back to urban centers where there are more uh, job opportunities and better paying jobs. So it's not about really uh, giving them dole to keep them in rural India, but there's a need for us to do that till jobs in urban India don't pick up again.
My final question to you before I let you go, what do the trends show in this survey? I'm attempting to ask this question one more time. How much will the unemployment increase further before it can start coming down again? I know it's a difficult question to answer, but
No, it's not about there being a maximizing number. It's all about how long will the lockdown last and what is the nature of the lockdown. We don't have a structural reason to have unemployment of 24%. So there isn't any max. We had never imagined that we would hit unemployment at the rate of 24%. So this is a function of the nature of the lockdown and the duration of the lockdown.
all right. Mr. Mahesh Vyas, the CEO and MD of CMIE, thank you so much for joining us.